Hello, it's Matthew with Helsing Arms. And today we're going to go over putting an entire bolt carrier group together from parts. So I'm going to start with the bolt. This is a stripped bolt, and what's going to go into this bolt is the extractor, which is right here, the ejector, which is right here. This is the extractor pin. We've got an ejector, an ejector roll pin, the ejector spring, the extractor spring, the extractor O-ring, and the extractor buffer. Okay, so let's start putting the extractor together. Okay, so we're going to put the spring in there like so. That's going to snap into place. There we go, nice and snug. The buffer is going to go into the middle of this, like so, and then an O-ring over top of it. Okay, so we're looking at something like that. Okay, so now we're going to put the ejector together. Put a little bit of oil. Not a lot, just a little bit oil on the spring. Okay. Now this ejector, I don't know if you can see that right there, has a little notch in there. That's going to hold onto the roll pin that's going in there. So it's only going to go in one way. See if you can see that. Yeah, it's going to go in there one way. Now I have a tool for this to hold this pin in while I hammer the roll pin in, and it's this Delta Wheeler block. So we're going to. This is going to push down and turn, quarter of a turn, and you guys can see how that holds the pin in there. Does a really good job. So we're going to put our roll pin in. Make sure that's good. We are. Went a little too far. Push that back through just a little bit. Almost. There we go. All right, so now we have our ejector in with the roll pin. Okay, now the extractor, basically you're just putting that in there, pushing it down just a little bit. Doesn't take much force, and this pin will fall into place. You don't have to do too much with it. There we go. There we go. So that's now together as well. So our extractor's in there, the pin's in. And now the only thing that left that we have is the gas rings. So we're going to put these gas rings in one at a time. Just kind of fit one side over and put the rest of them in. Now we just have to make sure that this doesn't ride up on another one. So we're going to fit one in, wrap it around, and the last one. There we go. So some controversy as if you need to keep these seals separated, but we'll just mix them up a little bit. And that's a complete bolt that we have. All right, so next step is to go put the carrier and the carrier key on, and we'll do that right now. Okay, so now we're going to be putting the carrier together. The carrier, what we're going to start with is the key. So the key is going to go on the bolt carrier like so. We've got to do a few things before we do that. First thing is we're going to clean both sides of the bolt and the key. I'm sorry, the carrier and the key. So we're just going to, just some alcohol, make sure that there's no grease or anything that could get in between our seal that we're going to be using. That looks good. All right, that looks good. All right, so what I do is I use this Permatex red gel to create a seal. Some people don't do this. I do. I think the better seal that you have for the gas, then the better. This can make it a little bit more difficult to take off if you need to in the future, but the seal I find makes a better product. All right, so we're just going to go around the carrier, and it just takes a very, very little bit. We're going to make sure that we don't have any gel in our gas hole. That looks good. And again, you don't need a whole lot, just a tiny bit. That looks good. All right, so we're going to put our key on now. Let me talk about the key screws just a little bit. Okay. There's a lot of key screws that you can get. I like made in the USA, good quality. These are better than grade 8 screws. They work fantastic, and you really won't have any problems using these. So you can use what you want. This is what we use here at Helsing Arms. So we're just going to tighten these in by hand first, and then I go up to 45 inch-pounds when I'm putting the torque wrench on. So I'm going to set that, and we're going to go ahead and a little bit. All right, now we're going to get it up to 45 inch-pounds. There we go. One more time. Yep. And here. Oh, okay. So that's properly torqued. We can clean up any of the gel that comes off on the sides. Shouldn't be a whole lot. If you got a lot coming out of there, then you really need to make sure that your gas key isn't blocked with any of that gel. Just be a very, very little bit. So after we've got that together, we're going to stake it. Now this is a jig that we use here to stake our gas keys. It's very simple. Kind of just fits in here. You line it up. Make sure yeah. Pins are where they need to be. Where the pins need to be, we're going to tighten the set screw. And we're just going to tighten it up until it stakes the keys. This should get all the way through the metal into the bolt. We're just going to alternate this, one and then the other. Now you want to stake these enough to where you get into the bolt. That's good. Good. Do one more of this one. Okay. And you really can't stress the importance of having a really good staked gas key. You don't want those loosening up on you. There we go, you can see. Good staked gas key. Now, the only thing that we have left to do is to assemble our bolt. I'll put a little bit of oil. Won't take much. Put our cam in. Put our firing pin in and our retainer in. There we go. So this is a nice bolt that we have. You can test these by, you can either hold them up, make sure that the bolt isn't loosening up. Another test is to let it on its own weight, and if it goes down like that, then you probably need to change out your gas rings. But this is a good bolt for one of our builds. All right, thanks for watching.